Lovely, Derek. So we are now starting the first lesson on how to make the first pair of socks. So I am today going to be basing myself on a pattern which is very good for you because it's called Men's Basic 2-Needle Socks. And I will be sending you the pattern later on today. So this pattern covers 3 different sizes of men's socks. There's a small size, medium size, and large. The small size, the cuff is 8 inches and the foot is 10 inches. Medium, the cuff is 9 inches and the foot is 11 inches. And a large size, the cuff is 10 inches and the foot is 12 inches. And all those is when it is not stretched. So I guess you would have to see the size of your foot, measure your foot and things like that. I will be working on the small size, even though I think my feet are smaller than the small size for men, but that's okay because I will still wear my socks at home. So remember, I am basing myself on a small size. I don't know which size you will be working with, but I will be discussing all 3 sizes during this tutorial. Looking at the pattern now, and the pattern recommends that we are going to use, of course, some sock yarn and some 2.75 millimeter needles. So I have my 2.75 millimeter needles, as you can see. I don't know if the camera will show you. Show this, please. No, but it is 2.75 millimeter needles. And you will need to start like I am doing now. We are going to work the whole sock with just these 2 straight needles. Let's see if I can maybe zoom out for a little bit. As you can see, these straight needles is all we're going to need for the whole sock. So the first 2 steps are really quite easy to do, and looking at the pattern now, I will tell you how many stitches you will need to cast on. I think the first thing I need to do is maybe to tone down my voice so that I'm not screaming into your ears. Okay? I never know when I use this headset just how loud I should talk or not. So I'm just basically going to talk normally and hopefully you'll hear me just fine. So the first thing we're going to need to do, looking at the pattern now, is to cast on our stitches. It's so hard to also look at the camera at the same time. Okay, so for the small size, which is my size here, I have casted on 72 stitches. If you're doing medium size, it is 74 stitches. And if you're doing the larger size, you're going to cast on your 76 stitches. So I have done mine, as you can see. I've got my 72 stitches, but depending how many stitches you need, this will be to be around your calf or your ankle. It's going to be that part. We're going to work on the ribbing now. So once you have got that, come back and we can get on to the next stage. Okay, so now we are ready to start knitting our socks. So I might have to zoom in, although this part here will be very, very short indeed because it's very simple. we are going to do 1 by 1 rib, which is knit 1, purl 1. Pretty sure you know exactly how to do that. Okay, so when it's behind a camera, it's always more complicated, especially with straight needles. So knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and as you know, the first row is always the worst somehow. I have no idea why that is, but the first row is always the most complicated one. So anyhow, knit 1, purl 1 all the way, and we're going to do the ribbing section just like so. Every single row is going to be knit 1, purl 1. So there's no need for me to give you a headache with the needles going tick, 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 tick. Okay, I'm going to let you go ahead and do the ribbing section. And how long do we need to do that for? In the pattern, it suggests around 3 inches. So when that section is done, I will come back and I will tell you what to do next. Okay, so I am now done with the ribbing section. I will measure and show you. I have done exactly 3 inches. As you can see, 3 inches. Yeah. And for me, 3 inches, which could be different from you, but for me personally, I have done 26 rows. See, 26 rows. Sock 1. And these are the number of rows I did for the first sock. Now, it is incredibly important to write how many rows you're doing, because when you're doing your second sock, you want to make sure that your second sock is exactly identical to the first one. So I did 26 rows for my ribbing section. And now that my ribbing section is done, we are ready to go on to the next part. The next part is very, very easy. What we're going to do now is stocking stitch. So the right side will be knitting and on the right side will be purling. And we're going to do quite a few rows like that. What you're going to do is another extra however many inches you want. In the pattern it specifies you can do an extra, let me check, you will do another further 4 to 7 inches depending on what size that you want to do. So in addition to this, you will add, I will zoom out, you will add an extra 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 inches, and that just depends how long you want your sock to be. Now I should have prepared myself and got a sock from somewhere. In fact, I will go and get a sock. I'll be right back. So this is one of Christopher's socks. Because I don't really have socks, I wear tights. So this is Christopher's sock. We started with that bit with some ribbing section until it is about 3 inches long. Now this sock is about 8 inches long. So besides the ribbing section here, let's zoom in. Besides this 3 inches section, to get to the 8, we would need to do another 5 inches, wouldn't we? See? This is the bit we're doing. Need to zoom out again. Yeah, so this is the bit we're doing now on the sock. So, depending on how long you want your sock to be, just make as many rows as you want in stocking stitch. Now, I'm not sure how long I want my sock to be just yet. Probably I want my sock to be at least 10 inches long, so I'm going to do another 7 inches in stocking stitch. And I will be back to tell you just how many rows I did, and then we'll be ready to move on to the next section, which will be some part of the foot somewhere. I'm not too sure where yet. But yes, first we need to get this part done. So that's what we're doing in today's video. So I will do a few more rows and I will show you my progress. And in the next video, this part will be complete. But for now, I'm going to go off for a little bit. I'll do a few rows and I'll show you my work in progress. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I am back and I have done a few rows. Actually, I've done 5 rows. And there we are. This is where you can see the stocking stitch here. I don't know if you can see, I haven't done that much that you can really notice. This is the stocking stitch bit. Okay, so there is still quite a lot to do, considering, you know, let's say that this is the top of the sock, like this. As you can see, there is still a long way to go to be here. And I think I'm going to make the stocking stitch bit at least 7 inches long, because I do want extra long stitches, socks. And I don't want to be working too long and make you wait too long, I should say. So I'm going to finish this video here. Christopher's finishing school very shortly. So what I want to do is get this video edited and published for you, so that I know you've been waiting a very, very long time for the sock tutorial. So this is the end of part 1, where we will have done the top of the sock, which is the ribbing section, and then the body of the sock, which is that bit. So basically that bit of the sock. In the next video we will start, because I think we will have a few parts. Part 2 will be some area of the foot. I'm not too sure which one yet, but we will find out together. So I will stop here. I'm always terrible when it comes to finishing videos. I never quite know how to end, and yeah, it's always very awkward. So there we are. I hope you will enjoy this a beginning of a tutorial for our very first pair of socks. Let me know if you have any more questions. And yeah, so I hope you're okay, and I have no doubt that we will talk very soon. So talk very soon, lovely Derek. Bye for now. Oh, and there's a sock.